Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. This is ADV Sudeep and it's been a long time I haven't made another video. So today I've got my Polo and I'll be doing a drive review of my Polo. So this is a GT TSI. It's a turbo engine and it produces around 110 horsepower. These are all the technical specs which you can get on Google. So this is the 2018 model and let's drive. Let's talk about the pros of this car. This car is smooth, build quality is good than compared to other cars in the market, and for the price range I think it's a bit pricey than compared to the other cars in the market. But then after all, the company keeps telling it's German. German का तो बहुत ढिंडोरा पीटते हैं ये Volkswagen वाले. So let's keep it aside and let's talk about the ride quality in this car. The ride is pretty stiff. So when you're new to Volkswagen or a Polo, you can tell. So at that time you'll like the car because the dampening and everything is going to be good. But later, once you start getting used to the car, you will get to know that the ride quality is actually a bit stiff compared to the other cars in this price range or in that particular hatchback bracket. They have given good front suspensions and the rear ones are pretty bad, you can tell, because when you're taking turn, the rear end kind of feels awkward. You feel that the front and the rear doesn't go together, like the rear is trying to move off from your line. And I've done a lot of kilometers in this car. As you can see, the ride quality is pretty bad in this particular ground which I'm driving right now. And I've done around 36,000 kilometers, you can tell. So it's good time to do a ownership review, I feel. I have done till date 3 servicing, 1 battery change, and few other stuff changed in this car. But then this car is superb, quiet inside. You don't get outside noise a lot. But then there's another negative factor to this car is the wheel or alloy or the tire, you can say. You can get the road noise, and it's pretty loud. As your speed keeps increasing, the sound keeps increasing again and again, and it gets irritating when you're doing a long drive or going for a tour on this particular car. And the seating position in this car is pretty cramped up. As you can see, like this seat over here, this portion, this is an extra cover which I've put, but at this, the lower back, the support is very less, and on a longer ride you have higher chances of getting lower back pain, which I face all the time. So this is a good car for a city, no doubt. And the steering feedback is too good. The control of this car is too good at high speed. I have driven this up to 180 kilometers per hour. But then now let's talk about the gearbox of this car. So the gearbox of this car is a DSG, as everyone knows, because it's a GT TSI. It's smooth initially. After my second service, I started facing a bit of issues. So many might be thinking ki bhai GT TSI lena chahiye ya nahi, is the DSG reliable enough? See, I have driven till almost 36,000 kilometers. I haven't faced any major issues. But the thing is, what you face with this car is the gear changing issues. So when the car is in drive mode, as you can see here, drive. So in this particular mode, when you give a bit of hard acceleration, from the first to second and the second to third, you get a bit of jerk. And being a DSG, it shouldn't be getting a jerk, and that's what I feel. And the other issue is, this is a dry gearbox, so there's no fluids and stuff in it. So as you're driving in traffic or something, which most of the people or the owner have complained in this car, which they faced, is when you're in traffic and the car is in normal drive mode, so what happens is the gearbox is dry, so the lubrication is not that good and it gets heated, and they end up losing some of the other part from the gearbox side, and it's pretty expensive to repair a DSG gearbox. And most of the service stations in India, they prefer people to replace their gearboxes, which is very expensive. And now let's talk about the proper drive, and this is the normal drive mode. The car is good and smooth. As you can see, it drives pretty comfortably, and as you can see, the roads this side are super bad, and the only reason I came towards this side is to show you guys how this suspension and the ride quality is. And most probably you can't tell by seeing it through the video, but I'm just sharing my view from here. And the ride in this car is pretty stiff, and what else, the braking on this car was also bad because the company disc and the brakes were not good enough. So what I have done is I have switched to Brembo, and I've got a full Brembo slotted rotors and EBC yellow stuff brake pads. They are genuine, and after that my braking feel from the pedal has become better. Or else before I used to get that cushy feel, like you keep tapping and at a point you don't feel your car's going to stop, then after that your car starts slowing down. So that's not great when you're doing highway speeds. So that's the only reason I just went ahead and replaced this stuff. And this was in D mode. In D mode, the car shifts around 2000 rpm to 2300 rpm, and that's pretty usual for this car in D mode. And then if you go to the S mode, which they tell it as a sports mode, but there's nothing sporty about it. It just shifts gear at higher rpm. That's the only thing in the sports mode. Which, and in sports mode, the other thing is it doesn't hold on to the revs. It just shifts. And let me show you the sports mode now. It's in second gear. I'll take a left from here, and we'll go to another road. So see, this is a pretty much empty stretch, but the roads are not that good. So I'll show you as much as possible. See, it just shifted at 3000 rpm, but then if you keep accelerating, it keeps increasing, but it doesn't hold on to the gears. And the braking is also too good in this car, but the rear end feel is too bad. You could always feel that the rear end keeps waving around left and right. So most of the people who own this car and don't want to upgrade from this, what they do is they change the rear shocks, or they get a stiffer anti-roll bar. But for me, this is just a city car, so I just kept it as much stock as possible. Haven't done anything crazy, but I was just planning to get a stage 1 tune from Code 6, but I'll just tell you about the tunes and all the stuff in the next video. So stay tuned, and also subscribe to my channel, hit the bell icon, and if you like the video, so do give a thumbs up, and also follow me on Instagram. If you have any doubts or queries, just DM me on Instagram, and I'll be there for you to answer all the queries you have. So from here, there's a bit of good stretch after this bad patch. As you can see, the ride quality is pretty stiff in this car, and the roads are also pretty bad, but the ride quality is pretty stiff. So now the car is in sports mode, and let me accelerate. There's no place to hit the red line itself, but still after this turn most probably I can. So I'll just slow it down. See, it's in second gear, and let this van pass by, then I'll start throttling. And okay, so let's go. Just see, it'll go till 6,000 and it will just shift. It doesn't hold on to the gears. So if it's in sports mode, I feel Volkswagen should have tuned it in such a way that it holds on to the gears, because that's pretty important when you're on sports mode, because most of the people, there are many people I know that who use this car for usual track days. Their cars are heavily tuned, but still it should hold on to the gears. So what many people do is they go for a DSG tune or a DSG map, with the help of which they can hold on to the gears for a longer time. And now let me show you the manual mode in which I have to do manual shifts. So it's in first gear, and in this it's pretty much holds up to the revs. See, first gear, now it, see, third. Now again, let me show you the braking. This car's braking is too good, especially after I have upgraded the car. And I've driven this car in crazy fast speeds around highway. I do most of the time Bangalore-Hubli stretch in this particular car, and it's amazing for that stretch. But there are a few bad patches which you'll really hate, especially after Davangere, and it's okay because you can manage. And I am around 5'11", and for this height, one issue you'll be having is you'll feel cramped in this car, but not a major issue, because if you are taller than me, around 6 or a bit more than that, then you'll start having issues, especially getting lower back pain, under thigh support. Your under thigh support is pretty less over here, and that's all I have to say. And stay tuned. I'll come back and tell you about the tunes and stuff in the next video. So do subscribe to my channel. Also, if you have any queries regarding my Polo or BMW, just DM me on Instagram, because I don't go through too much of comments. And if you have any special request about any other car or any sort of video which I can make, I'll try to do it. And stay tuned. This is ADV Sudeep signing out.